Masantos Siagaw na imbag kaaldaw. Magandang araw. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Language Launcher Podcast, bringing light into life through literature. I am your host, Miss Elaine, your favorite gal in talks that are express lane and in discussions where advices and lessons are what you will surely gain. Once again, that is me, Miss Elaine. Hello once again, listeners, and to our solid launchers. How's your week going so far? We are all in the first week of June, right? And we are already in the half of the year. So we hope that everyone is being productive. We hope that everyone is doing well. And as for me, actually, I just got home from saying goodbye to this school year 2023-2024. And as I look out the bus window and as I ponder on the road that we are crossing, now I remember one literary piece that we have discussed in our subject in Survey in Anglo-American Literature. And that is what we're going to talk about today under our new segment called Let's Talk About Lit. In this segment, we are going to share our sentiments regarding the literary pieces that bring light into life. So for today's episode, we are going to talk about a poem entitled The Road Not Taken by Sir Robert Frost. So first things first, allow me to read and recite the poem for you. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden back. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. So this poem talks about how you, if given two choices, the popular and the unpopular one, should follow your heart, even if that choice is less chosen by others. It's like saying, do your own thing, don't follow the crowd. Follow your heart and go with what you believe in, because it will make all the difference. It will change your life. It also tells us about choosing our own path and not just going on with what others have been doing or going on with the flow. It tells us to set the road that we want to take into our hands rather than letting anyone direct it for us. But if we try to review and look back at the poem, there's something that makes it beautiful. And I think that is its ambiguity, meaning it can have another meaning aside from the interpretation that the world have been giving it. It feels like the author is telling a story of regret because he kept on thinking about the other path even after making the choice to take the path B. Hence, the title speaks for the road not taken by the speaker and not by the others. So from the beginning of the poem, we can see that the speaker is an indecisive guy. He couldn't choose between the two roads, given that they are pretty much the same. They are equal and just as fair. So, he has no clear reason to choose the path he chose. Nevertheless, he took it. Just like in life, there are circumstances where we are faced with making decisions as to where we cannot see how can we cling it into a clear reason? But we just have to decide and do the thing that makes sense for us. Why? Because if we don't make a decision, if we don't take action, then how can we progress? How can we go to the next chapter of our lives? How can we move forward? Because the reality that life is sometimes blurry, life is uncertain, and we cannot clearly see what's on the other side of it is one of the things that are constant in this world. And we better take the risk and take the chance to make a decision rather than regret in the end that we didn't take any action. And the last paragraph of the poem, from my point of view, what has made all the difference in a regretful way is the fact that he didn't choose the other way that made him different from what he is now to the one he could have been. Whereas in the positive way is the fact that he was able to make a decision after being indecisive. So he is trying to justify his action. That's why his brain rationalized his decision, saying that he was an active participant of his life who's able to make a decision. And that action, not particularly the choice, has made all the difference for him. But then again, we can clearly say that that decision is better than the other because the options laid on were almost identical. Because sometimes you just make a choice and you have to live with that. And that poses the echoes of looking back and wondering what ifs. What if I travel the other way around? What could be waiting there for me? What if what's waiting there is better than what I have now? What if I could go back? Can I ever return here if it turns out bad? In life, and upon mulling over the poem, I realized that when we have a lot on our plate, we tend to make decisions irrationally. Just like what happened when we were given the option or the choice to record the reportings or extend for makeup classes. And we took the one less traveled by, literally, because Ma'am Jex told us that we're the only ones who refused to take the opportunity to have makeup classes with Ma'am T without realizing that our teachers are being much generous of their time. But just like what we've said, we have to live with the choices that we made. So we better take on the consequences of it. We need to face whatever lies ahead. After all, life is full of uncertainties, blur, and cloudiness. But that's what makes it beautiful. It gives us unexpected lessons, valuable things that we can learn from. And the adventure, the mystery of life is something that makes it beautiful. We never know what path would take us to where. We never know what lies ahead unless we take it. Ultimately, being an indecisive person that I am most of the time, it taught me a lesson of being responsible in making decisions or take the responsibility of the decision you made. Weigh things out. Make a decision. If it turns out good, sail the ship. If it turns out bad or if it fails, conquer the waves. And I believe we have reached to the final moment of our today's podcast for our episode. And I hope that you've learned a lot or you've learned something from our today's episode, and I have offered you something that will feed your mind, your soul, and your heart. Thank you for staying tuned with me until the end of this episode. Once again, I am your host, and you have been with me, Miss Elaine, your favorite gal in talks that are express lane and in discussions where advices and lessons are what we'll surely gain. This is Language Launchers Podcast, bringing light into life through literature.